Welcome to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions. Ed Nunez, along with Austin Killeen. We'll have our own Angel Baby Perez in studio with us. Fights up at Buffalo Thunder on Saturday night. Legacy Boxing Promotions made a trek up to Buffalo Thunder. Most of their fights have been in Albuquerque. You were gone for 2 weeks on a nice vacation. We missed you. You know, I know you had a good time visiting your daughter out there.
Well, I had a great time in Virginia. Totally different than New Mexico. It's all green. And I did a little shopping, and I thought you might like this. So I picked this up.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know, it's the Virginia Cavalier Final Four. They were the champs this year.
They actually put it on the top of the shirt.
Yeah.
But in small print.
Yeah, that's thank you very much, Austin. Yeah. You always think of everybody else, and that we still talk about the bread you made in studio here one time. You didn't make it here, but you brought us some, and man, that stuff was so good.
We wouldn't have enough time in the show to get it.
No, you know, we could, maybe that's next, a Proview cooking show with Austin Killeen. We could. Anyway, Austin, let's go over these fights at Buffalo Thunder. When I talked to you yesterday, you and I talked quite a bit, and you'll always call and tell me why I couldn't make it the fight card on Saturday, but you thought it was one of the best that you had seen, and as I mentioned, you're not one to just hype things up. You'll tell it like it is. You've seen a million fights, and you thought this card here at Buffalo Thunder on Saturday night was one of the best you saw.
Oh, it was terrific.
Or seen, I should say.
It was right from the opening fight, which was Jesus, and I no longer Pacheco. I have a hard time pronouncing his name now myself.
Oh, the opening bout. Let me go with that. Featherweight Jesus Xavier Paradura. He came in and he's 8-6 now. Unanimous decision. They're fighting at 126 pounds. Unanimous decision over Jasmine Hogue of Fruitland, New Mexico. Talk to us about that fight.
Jasmine's a good fighter. His record is not the real thing. Both fighters have spent a lot of time fighting on the road. Neither one are big bangers. You're on the road, close fights. They just don't give you the decisions. So they had a tremendous fight. It was 4 action-packed rounds. I thought that Jesus won all 4 rounds, but they were very contested rounds. They weren't one-sided.
Could have gone either way. But you had no issue with the unanimous decision.
I thought he deserved it. And there's bright future for him. He's already had 14 pro fights. He's got a lot of experience.
Jesus, so you think...
and he's never been stopped.
Okay, so he's 8-6 after that fight. In the second bout, junior middleweight Clinton native kid Chavez, he's 2-0 now. And you like this guy. They were fighting at 151 pounds, TKO over Eloy Valverde. He's 0-2 now. He came in at 159 pounds of Amarillo, Texas. Talk about that fight.
In my pre-fight write-up, I predicted that Clinton would stop him, and he did. But someone who wants to remain anonymous, who's well known in the boxing community, said, don't be sleeping on his opponent. Valverde is really tough, and he proved that he was really tough. But he did get stopped at the end of the 3rd round in a tremendous fight.
Okay, I think a lot of people, too, you know, they see these records, not so much of Valverde. He's only 0-2 after that fight, 0-1 coming in. We'll talk about some other fights, though, and we'll get to those in a second here. But in the 3rd bout, and this was kind of, I think, at least for me, Austin, I don't know how you feel, the stunner of the night, Isaac Luna. He's 5-1 now with 1 KO. They fought at 147 pounds of San Elizardo, Texas. TKO over Matthew Papitas Escobar, his first loss, 12-1-1. They fought at 100. He fought at 146.2. Talk to us in 2 knockdowns, 3 out.
3
knockdowns. Tell us about that fight.
I thought it was going to be a terrific fight. Luna's 3rd time fighting here for the Perez brothers, but he had no punch. Well, he has one now. Matthew Escobar's mistake, I thought, he carried his left a couple of inches below his chin, and Luna just went after him with right hands, dropped him twice in the 1st round, and he was really hurt, and the bell saved him, really. And then in the 2nd round, I thought, well, maybe he can pull it out. But he got dropped again, and they stopped it.
We got just a couple of minutes left, and we'll have our own Angel Baby Perez in our next segment. But he got tested, his big test. Our own Angel Baby Perez, now 8-0, 5 KOs. They fought at 126 pounds. Unanimous decision over Danny Flores of Mexico City, Mexico. Talk about that fight, because Aron Angel Baby Pettis was tested.
We'll have more of it, obviously, when he comes on. But at the end of 4 rounds, we were wondering, was he going to suffer his first defeat?
Wow. And that tells you something because, but we'll talk to him about it. But I think he survived that test, and we're glad that he did. I'm a big fan. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big fan of his, and we'll talk more with him on the next segment. And then the 5th bout scheduled for 6 rounds, Amy Salinas won by unanimous decision over Samantha Salazar of Houston, Texas. Amy Salinas now 3-0. Samantha Salinas 6-2. They fought at 115. Tell us about that fight.
I thought Salinas won the fight. She dominated the first 2 rounds. Her opponent. Salinas is a pressure fighter, and the fight was taking place in the middle of the ring, so there's no pressure. And her opponent was just able to out-jab her and win the first 2 rounds convincingly. And the last 4 rounds were hotly contested, but I couldn't see anything better than a draw.
Okay, so Salinas got the unanimous decision over Salazar.
Right, I didn't think she deserved it.
Okay, so we're going up, and now we're almost at the main event. And the semifinal was scheduled for 6 rounds. Joseph Martinez, 23-6-1 with 11 KOs. They fought at 164 pounds. He defeated, KO'd Arturo Crespin, 13-9 with 4 KOs of Las Vegas, New Mexico. Talk about that fight.
Spectacular fight, spectacular knockout. Crispin fights like you're in an alley. Anything he can do to win. As long as the punches are above the sock line, that's legal. That's just the way he fights. He doesn't ask the referee for anything. I'd never want to meet this guy in an alley. And outside the ring, in fact, I know the whole family. They're very nice people. But boy, in the ring,
they go at it. Okay, in the main event, this was scheduled for 6 rounds. Middleweight Joaquin Zamora, he's now 24-2 with 12 KOs. They fought at 164 pounds of Santa Fe, New Mexico. It was a draw against Josue Obando, 17-26-2 with 12 KOs. He came in weighing 171.5 of Guadalajara, Mexico. Talk about that fight.
Well, they're both got 8,000 moves. They're like revolving doors, and a lot of people don't like that kind of style. But I love that style. They're artists, and they won't look at your head and they'll hit you there. They'll look at your head and hit you in the belly. They have all kinds of tricks. And then I had, when I was training with Eddie Owens, he taught me, he said, you don't have to see the head. If you can see my stomach, you should know where my head is.
So a lot of tricks into the trade there. We'll be back in studio with our own Angel Baby Pettis on Legacy Boxing Showcase after these messages.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
ABQ ER and Hospital is changing the way you see ER in Albuquerque. We promise to see each patient within 10 minutes of arrival. ABQ ER and Hospital is now offering $25 school physicals, with 100% of proceeds donated back to the schools.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Perez Collision, Ed Nunez, along with Austin Colleen, and in studio, Aron Angel Baby Pettis had himself a very tough fight on Saturday. but he was victorious, and that's what counts. He beat Danny Flores in a 6-rounder, unanimous decision. And, again, Flores is a tough customer.
Yeah, man, he was a tough, durable opponent, man. He went in and he was throwing all 6 rounds. If the fight went another 2 rounds, I feel like he would have been throwing those 2 rounds as well. So he was a good opponent.
What people forget too is I think sometimes he came in with a record, his 15-17, right? But I think people look at the record and they think that's going to be an easy fight. But those veterans, particularly the ones from Mexico, man, how tough are they?
Yeah, they're tough, man. They always come and they bring a fight. They put on a show, and they just entertain the crowd.
Yeah, they're not coming to lose.
No, yeah, exactly.
Austin, yeah.
I'm just curious, the way you flew out of your corner in the first round, you were just going to wipe them out in 20 seconds. What were you thinking? What was going through your mind just before they rang the bell that you used that approach?
I didn't really think much about how my approach was gonna be. Pretty much as soon as the bell rang, it was just me that went out there. I didn't really have an approach, but to start aggressive and see what kind of flaws he would make and little things like that. But he proved very durable.
Did you have you watched the fight?
No.
I'd be curious to see what your reaction is after you see it.
Yeah.
Because I clearly thought you won the first 2 rounds, but he wasn't going anywhere.
No, he wasn't. He was staying there and he was throwing and he was asking for more. So he didn't have enough, I guess.
Certainly did that.
Go ahead.
No,
I gotta ask you this though. Did you look at Flores at all? Any tape on him? I'm sure you did. But when you say for the audience, when you say he's throwing, you mean uppercut? He's coming with a whole
Any
arsenal.
direction, yeah. He's coming from all directions and he's just trying to make. Those guys just dream for an upset, so they're living for that moment. So he came down and he tried doing what he could.
Any point at all where you felt he had you in trouble, or that and you know what? There's shots that hurt every fight, right? I mean, you're going to get hit. Nobody has been, everyone gets punched and hit. Was there a point where you thought hey, look, man, I don't know?
There was a slight change in the fight whenever me and him were doing some inside work. We came out right away and I caught a headbutt in between our exchange and the inside. But as soon as we broke out from that clinch, just my nose started pouring, man, and that it just it created a little disturbance in my breathing, but it wasn't. I mean, we just had to work through it, weather the storm, and this guy, he got excited when he seen that, so we just stayed composed, man, and just stayed relaxed and just looked for openings where I could do my work.
You know what? I think, I'm going to turn this over to Austin, but I think when you say that, there's a storm there, and then there's blood there, right? If you see blood on another boxer, what's your approach?
I just stay calm because I know when someone's hurt, they could be
more dangerous.
Exactly.
But I think
So-
on your climb, your ascension, right, and you've been climbing, there's going to be some valleys, man. And you know what? That's where I think the champ comes out, right? Because it's good when you're cruising. Then all of a sudden, man, you're challenged. You got this guy in front of you, like you said. He's throwing everything. He's not afraid. He's bringing it. That's where Aaron Angel Baby Perez makes his money. That's where you're going to make it.
Yeah, and things like that just expose like yourself as a fighter, and fights like that, they help mature a fighter and into growing as a fighter, and during those rounds, knowing that there's people that are going to be dishing it all 6 rounds, all 8 rounds, all 10. But that's it, man.
That was good for you then, Austin.
what was your thought when he came out in the 3rd round? Suddenly he's backing you up.
Well, I knew he was just pretty excited because he's seen that I had a bloody nose, and
Right.
and I knew he was just gonna try to do what he can and while he can. But we just stayed calm in there, man.
Well, I was surprised he didn't offer you a tissue.
I know, right? Yeah, it
Do that,
was
right.
going pretty good, a consistent
But,
rate for a little bit.
That's when the fight got exciting for me, and Danny and Adam as well. Wow.
And for me too, it was like, he's bringing it
We
now.
were starting to. Now I haven't had a chance to watch the fight yet myself, and no, I may change my mind. Maybe it wasn't as close as I thought it was. But I thought after the 4th round, the 3 of us were in the set saying, man, are we going to see an upset here?
Yeah.
Because obviously all great fighters have fights where they got to dig down deep because it's not going according to the plan.
Right.
And we thought maybe that was what we were witnessing. I don't know.
No, I knew I had this guy pretty much, but I knew he had a couple of rounds of excitement just because he's seen some blood. So I just let him have his excitement, his time, and he did good in there. He made the night interesting.
Well, there's no fans were complaining for a refund, I can tell you.
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
But in the 5th round, you came out, and now you started throwing a heavy left jab.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to the first 4 rounds, you really didn't throw many jabs.
Right.
You were just throwing hooks and uppercuts. And
Mm-hmm. So yeah, adjustments is also what determines the outcome of a fight. If one thing isn't working another way, if you can't be offensive, and then you got to be defensive.
I'm curious, what did your father say to you at the end of the 4th round? Maybe it's such a blur you can't remember one from another.
My dad, he knows I was good, man. He was like, "Hey, you're doing good. You're weathering his storm. Everything he has to stretch. You're remaining calm, and you're thinking, and you're doing some counterings, and so let's change something up a little bit. Let's start using some jabs." So,
Because I thought you won the last 2 rounds and deserved the decision, but even in those rounds, he was still throwing.
yeah, he was.
He certainly wasn't tired at the end of 6. Looked
Right.
like the 2 of you could have easily gone an 8-rounder.
Yeah,
I don't know if 10 would have been out or not.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a hell of a fight.
It was, man, and I give him much respect and credit to my opponent for staying in there and bringing a good show to the fans.
Now, do you agree with your dad? That was the toughest fight you've ever had? Or?
Yeah, he was the toughest fight I've had. So it's good though.
Yeah.
Talk about, when you got hurt and there's blood coming out, because there's adjustments in your breathing, your conditioning. There's a lot of things that are happening there, and people ringside wouldn't understand. So when that happened, talk about, was your breathing, you have to get control of yourself, because sometimes, and you have a great corner. Talk about any adjustments you made when that happened.
First I stepped back and I didn't know I felt my nose warm, and then suddenly after that, my respiratory issues it was clogging my respiratory system. So then I tried breathing through my mouth, and I was having blood come out of my mouth. So I was trying to blow some out of my nose and spit some out, but we just after we got adapted, man, we stayed relaxed. And,
Corner stopped the bleeding.
yeah, they handled it well, man. As soon as I got in, I got with them at the end of the round. The next round, I was okay.
Okay, it's a lot of things going on there, and I think all things considered, you handle yourself like the champ we know you're going to be, man. Oscar, we got about a minute left in this segment. One more question, and we'll come back with the highlights from your fight.
All right.
Now, what's next for you?
We'll just stay busy, man. We just plan to keep staying as busy as possible. So if something comes up in 3 weeks or a month, then we'll be ready for that.
Now, are you willing to, I know you've already left the state once, so you're willing to leave out. Chris, your dad would love to have you on his cards, because
Right.
obviously you can sell some tickets.
Yeah, and then what we want to do is just keep getting these fights, man. See if we could get more opportunities and make an impression elsewhere.
Now, Kingsley Coliseum can hold 6,000 the way you had your last fight there. Could they bring in a good name for you right there at Kingsley Coliseum, so you're still in Albuquerque?
I feel like everyone's just been impressed with my performances, and we just continue to strive for perfection, and everyone likes that. So
We'll take a break and be back to Legacy Boxing Promotions after these messages.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson, And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales. Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions. Perez Collision, Ed Nunez in studio, along with Austin Colleen and Aaron Angel Baby Perez. Had a very tough fight up at Buffalo Thunder, beating Danny Flores by unanimous decision. And, we've been talking. I'm excited. I didn't get to watch it. I wasn't there. I had, some other commitments. But I think, we're big fans, man. We're big fans. Of course we are. I'll say that unabashedly. I'm not ashamed. Of course I'm going to say that.
Right.
We want the best for you, and we're glad that you were victorious. But let's take a look. We've got about 1:15 of highlights here in Austin. Talk about what we're seeing here.
Well, this is pretty good defense there by Aaron in that first, but he just walked into a left hook. I have no idea what round we're watching, but these guys were pitching at each other all 6 rounds.
Well, you're not kidding. He really was, yeah.
This was a terrific fight.
For those that don't know, Angel Baby has his name on the back of his trunks. He's in the red and yellow trunks there, and Flores and more in the yellow trunks.
A little bit of a telephone booth fight.
Yeah, and for those who are colorblind or can't read, it's Aaron on the right at the moment. So this guy just came to fight. Boy, he was
Yeah, he
tough.
did.
Talk about a little bit what we're seeing here, Angel.
This guy, he was just, we're doing some inside work, man. This looks like it was probably early in the fight, where the body work in the inside really matters in the beginning. So that's what it looks like is going on there. We're just exchanging. He would land, and then I would land right back. He would throw his little combos, and then I would come right back with mine.
Well, the referee, Ray Chavez, he stayed at my house this weekend, and he said he loved the fight. There really wasn't much clinching at all. It was,
Right.
and,
Yeah, it was clean. It was clean inside work when we were inside.
That's some good inside work by both fighters right there. And here, man, there was good combination there. But you weren't kidding when you said it seemed like anyway that Flores threw everything but the kitchen sink.
Right.
When you said he's throwing and people wouldn't understand that, but he had the combos. He's coming to the body. He's trying to hit you, everywhere.
Right.
So that guy was one tough customer. And again, I just think at least someone that's watched boxing, I've been watching for many years, so has Austin. Those are the fights that you learn a lot from, right? I mean, the ones you knock out easy and have an easy victory, the ones that make you work and stretch for that, right?
Yeah.
Dig down deep.
Right.
Looks
yeah.
like you had to do with this fight.
Yes.
Austin.
Oh, I'm daydreaming here, waiting for the next sentence. Obviously, this was your toughest fight. Is there a particular style that annoys you more than others? I really haven't seen you against a slick boxer yet.
Yeah.
So
Well,
take that back. That amateur fighter from Colorado, you had 3 fights with him. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, Sean Mondragon.
Yeah, no, he's more of a slick boxer.
Yeah, he's a boxer puncher, man. He likes to throw from his range and
So
punches
his
in bunches
style
too.
is totally different than this gentleman.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Some styles make fights, man, and it's crazy how it works. That's the beauty of boxing is that you just don't know what 2 styles you mix in there, what kind of a fight it'll bring.
No, I don't even know if he's turned pro yet or not.
Yeah, he's pro already.
Okay.
Yeah, he's undefeated right now.
And
He's doing good.
He's totally different style. He was more setting things up off his jab and everything. Try to get you to lunge at him and try to get you off balance.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's like you're just as good as your opponent, man. If you have they just bring out what's in you. The better your opponent is, the more of a test they put on you, and the more you're able to show from yourself.
Well, I didn't see the first 2 fights with him, but I saw the last one. That was a terrific fight. It was more of a boxing match than this. But both were exciting because in that fight, you weren't exactly dominating him either. I mean, you were having your great moments, but he was.
Yeah, we both had our moments.
And he had some good moments in this fight. I clearly thought you won both those fights, but they weren't easy.
No, they weren't, man.
I think there's also the competitive, what I call adrenaline, that when you're in there against an opponent that's giving you everything, you're giving everything, and that adrenaline rush. And I know you got it. Austin had it when I played basketball. A couple of times I had it, and you wonder, of course you can't compete on adrenaline forever, you'll die.
Right.
But that adrenaline, so when it gets a rush, you're like, man, this is mine. I'm not losing. Did you feel that in this fight? Did you feel like, you know what, I got to dig a little bit deeper for this guy?
What this guy was able to bring to the table, man, I love fights like that, man. It's just people that are able to expose me and I'm able to show what I'm able to do with those people. So that's what I like. I like people who are able to want to bring a fight and please the crowd. So that guy was a crowd pleaser too. He was hyping the crowd up, but those fights are good.
I think the crowd too. You have to feel, man. You have to go back and you're jazzed, right? I mean, and that has to help because they're pro out on Angel Baby Pettis crowd. They are, and so he gets the crowd hyped, but you're hyped. It's like,
Yeah.
We got to dig,
man.
right? We got to dig. Austin.
What I liked, obviously at the beginning of the fight, no one was going crazy over your opponent, but when they saw he could fight, they respected him. There was no booing at all.
No, yeah, right.
The fans around here.
That's what they like to see.
And they saw
and this guy, he didn't really clinch much either. When he got hit, he maintained his composure too, and he was just looking for his openings.
As a matter of fact, if they brought him back to the fight again, it'd be
an interesting one for the people who would want to see.
I don't know if they'd want to see you and him again because you proved you were better. But Pacheco is a sleeper.
Right.
Maybe him against Pacheco. I don't know if it's too soon.
Right. Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, that guy, they'll probably use him again in the future because his durability. And he'll test people, so I don't see why they wouldn't use him again.
I think it kind of depends too, because that guy there, it just depends, right? Somebody may look at it like that guy's too dangerous. We don't want to fight him because of that.
Right.
Sometimes guys like that, they find it hard to find opponents. Although he's a good boxer, people, and a good fighter, and he put up a great fight. Sometimes people are like, "Well, shoot, man, we can't take a chance on that guy." But you did prove you were the better fighter. We got a minute left in this segment with Aaron Angel Baby Pettis. Austin, hit him with one more question.
So what's next? I'm trying to push you here.
What's next? Get back in the gym ASAP. So we can get back to the drawing board and just work on some more improvements. We're always nitpicking flaws from each and every fight. So as long as we keep doing that, there's room for improvement and growth, and we'll just maintain our shape.
Now, isn't there a risk of getting stale if you go back to the gym too quickly?
There is, but we'll take a couple days off, 2-3 days off. But then there's also, if you take a week off, 1 week will do a lot to you, man. So 2 or 3 days off, enjoyable, and right back into it.
Aaron Angel Baby Pettis, thanks so much for being our guest.
Thank you guys again,
congratulations on your victory. We're real proud, man. And
thank you.
Keep doing great things. For producer Josh Brown, who does one of the best in the business, no question about it. For Austin Killeen, for Aaron Angel Baby Pettis, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another episode of Legacy Boxing Showcase.